let's talk about nutrient timing and frequency, and why it can benefit your goals. Although this isn't as important as focusing on your calories and macronutrients, it still plays its part and is worth discussing. With that in mind, let's start with meal frequency. Meal frequency just means how many times you eat in a day. Some bodybuilders eat 7 to 8 times a day, while people who do intermittent fasting may only eat 2 to 3 times. For most people, though, something in between works best. Research has shown that eating between 3 to 6 meals per day generally works well. So a good rule of thumb is to simply stick with 3 to 6 meals if you're unsure. But if you do well on fewer or more meals, and it works for you, that's fine too. Remember, consistency matters more than frequency. Eating at the same times each day with regular meals that include protein, fruits, and vegetables helps you stay on track and avoid decision fatigue. Some people do great with intermittent fasting. Others prefer frequent meals. What they have in common is a consistent routine. As an example, if you're eating over 5,000 calories for muscle gain, you might need 6 to 7 meals just to spread the food out and avoid feeling too full, as opposed to 2 to 4 meals if you're eating considerably fewer calories to help minimize hunger. Next, let's look at nutrient timing. It's easy to get caught up in the small details here, so don't worry about nutrient timing until you've nailed the basics of your nutrition, which includes your calorie intake, macronutrients, micronutrients, and hydration. For more on these, check out our other videos. First up, post-workout carbs. Some say you should eat carbs right after a workout to refill glycogen, which is the energy stored in your muscles, and to boost insulin, a hormone that helps with muscle growth. But here's the thing. Most people don't train long enough or hard enough to seriously deplete glycogen, and your body refills it naturally over the next 24 hours anyway. Plus, protein alone also spikes insulin, so the carbs aren't totally necessary after a workout unless you're doing intense cardio or double sessions in a day. Next, let's look at pre-workout carbs. Eating carbs before training might help your performance, but it depends on the person. Some people feel better and stronger, while others feel bloated or tired if they eat too close to a workout. As a rule of thumb, if you're on a diet or doing longer workouts, having some carbs 1 to 2 hours before training might help with endurance and energy. Now let's look at pre- and post-protein intake. You've probably heard you must have protein right after your workout, but in reality it's not urgent. Here's why. Protein digests slowly, and if you eat regularly, like 3 to 6 meals a day, then your body will have a steady flow of protein available most of the time. So, unless you're training fasted, meaning with no food beforehand, you likely don't need a protein shake immediately post-workout. Still, it's a good idea to eat protein around training. That is, 1 to 2 hours before and after your workout. So, a general guideline is around 0.18 to 0.23 grams of protein per pound of body weight. Or if you prefer kilograms, that's about 0.4 to 0.5 grams per kilogram. Alright, now we're going to dive into some specific recommendations for bulking and cutting. If you're cutting, try to have a normal meal that includes both carbs and protein about 1 to 2 hours before your workout. Then aim to consume protein again 1 to 2 hours after your workout. And don't forget, each meal should include about 0.4 to 0.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Plus, your pre-workout meal should contain roughly 10 to 20% of your total daily carbs. Here's a little side note for you. If you ever feel dizzy from eating just carbs, you can add a small amount of fat to your meal, something like 10 to 15% of your daily total. It's a simple tweak, but it can make a big difference. With bulking, it's a bit more simple as you've got more flexibility. This is because you're eating more and you're not likely to be tired from low calories. So just make sure you eat a meal with protein 1 to 2 hours before and after training, and you're good. However, if you're training super hard for more than 2 hours straight through methods such as sports training and lifting, it might help to have a pre- and intra-workout drink with 8 to 15 grams of protein and 30 to 60 grams of carbs. Intra-workout simply means during an exercise session. A simple mix of whey and Gatorade can work here, but remember that you don't need this if your workouts are long due to resting or stretching. This is more for serious endurance or back-to-back training sessions. So what's the bottom line? Here is what you need to remember. Meal frequency doesn't need to be perfect. Find what helps you stay consistent. Nutrient timing helps a little, but total daily intake is way more important. When bulking, consume 0.4 to 0.5 grams per kilogram of body weight of protein 1 to 2 hours before and after training. When cutting, Use these same recommendations, but add 10 to 20% of your daily carbs to your pre-workout meal. And that's it. So if you found this useful, please like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future updates. See you in the next one.